Hello, it's me again, Kirsty. I'm back again with another video, and in this video I am going to set up my bullet journal for July. As you might or might not have seen from the thumbnail, and as you might guess from these little gimmicks that I have lying around on my screen, or on my table actually, I decided that my theme this month would be ginkgo leaves. And I also decided to use my watercolours again because it's been a while, and most of the time if I don't really know what theme I want to do for the next month, I just sometimes flip through my old journals and see if there's anything that I like and that I would like to revisit, or if there is anything design-wise that I really liked. And I had this one journal where I always filled the entire first page as my title page, and I really liked the look of that, and it's the easiest way for me to fill a whole page with watercolor and not just a pencil sketch, if that makes any sense. So it just looks visually really pleasing if the whole thing is just dipped in color. As you might have seen, I do not use washi tape for having clean edges at the end of my paintings, but I use Scotch tape. I will try and link the one that I use down below because it's one of the tapes that just holds perfectly while drawing, but it comes off really, really nicely without having to fear that you're going to rip the whole page off. So that is the tape that I tend to use, and I also don't want to waste all of my washi tape because the washi tape that I do have is very limited because I don't work with it all that much. So the washi tape that I do have, I don't want to waste and then draw on top of. So I try to use the Scotch tape, which is not much of a waste in my opinion. So I filled the whole page with a blue background, and as you could see, I drew everything with my golden watercolor for this one. Usually it's something that I would gravitate towards using a pen just because it's easier to work around all those tiny little lines. But since these watercolors are so shiny and look so beautiful, I tried my best at doing everything with a brush. The next spread, as always, is my calendar spread. As you might already know, I always use a double page spread for my calendar because I want to have enough space in each box to write down everything that's going on. So that is why this page looks pretty much the same every month in terms of the overall layout. And on the right side of this page, I did pretty much the same thing that I did for my title page. So I used my Scotch tape again to have a clean line in the end, and added a wash of blue to the right side of this right page, and added a bunch of little golden ginkgo leaves. Ginkgo, that's the word, Kirsty. I actually was inspired to do this particular design with a blue background and golden leaves by a pillowcase that my husband and I have on our sofa. Well, it's not a pillowcase, but a throw pillow, I guess is what you'd say. And in real life, the background is a lot darker, so the blue is a lot more dark blue. But yeah, with my watercolor, it got a little lighter than I intended to, but I think it looks a little more summery, which is perfectly fine because it's July. And for all of the other things, I just drew all the outlines with my golden watercolor and then added all of these little veins of those leaves. I also actually wanted to add a bar of all of the days of the week on top of that, also with blue. I completely forgot to do that, so that is something that I will have to do off camera at some point. I still haven't done it yet, but it still bothers me that I forgot to do that. Which is fine because I know which column stands for which day, but I think it is a teeny tiny bit too empty for my taste as it is now, so I might go back and add that. For my tracker spread, I did the same thing I do every month. I am clearly running out of things to say at this point because it's just the same every month. So if there are any questions that you have, please let me know. But as you can see on the screen right now, I finally managed to make a few shots of how my spread looks like when it's filled out. So for June, as you might or might not remember, I used a silver gel pen to do lots of my little illustrations, and so I filled out everything with silver. and I really like the look of it, so I figured it might finally be the time to show you what my spread looks like when it's filled in. And yeah, as you could see, it's just a bar for each night, indicating how much I slept each night, and then a graph for my mood on the right. And for all of my habits, I just add a little dot that signifies if I did a habit on a specific day or if I didn't. So I hope that was of some sort of insight to you. I hope it, explains what I am setting up, and I think it's a lot more useful to know what I use it for and what it looks like when it's filled in. I might fill this one out in gold, who knows. And yes, so that was a lot of talking. What I did on the left side was add a little decoration, and yeah, I didn't add as many little leaves as I did on the other two spreads, but I just added a branch with 3 little ginkgo leaves, and one of them pokes out of the blue background just a tiny bit, and it looks really cool on the next page, as I just showed you with my hand, because I have this little bar of blue, because that's convenient. Thanks for the binding, Archer and Olive. Next up, we have my notes page, which again only is the title in the middle this time, and then a few branches all around the title. And I wasn't quite sure how to go about it, because for all of the others I had this bold blue background, and for this one I didn't. And I played around with having no background for some of the leaves and then just filling them in with a blue Tombow dual brush pen for some, and I didn't like it, so I ended up filling in all of the other leaves that I had left white in the background with blue as well, and then I had to go over with my golden watercolor again, because as soon as I went over with the pen, it just looked a little... It wasn't as shiny as it was before. So I did some things twice, which would not have been necessary, but then again, yeah, my head was in the way for that anyway. So everything that I just explained to you was happening while my head was in the way. So you won't see it twice. I had to do it twice. That was the story of my notes page for this month. I do like how it turned out in the end with the blue leaves, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense that they are blue. But I like blue and gold and yellow as a combination, so you might have seen that in my May setup where I did blue and yellow for my hot air balloon theme. Those are just 2 colors that really complement each other really nicely. And last but not least, I set up my to do this month page. Usually I do, well, not usually, I just switch between a couple of different layouts for my weeklies, just because most of my setups are always the same, and I do like to switch things up a tiny little bit each month. So for this month I went back to having a full spread for all of the tasks that I will have to be doing in the course of this month. So there are 4 lines and 8 columns, the 4 lines standing for 4 weeks for this month, and then there's 7 bars for each day of the week, and then another one for things that need to get done for a whole week. So if there's no specific day that I assign a specific task to, that goes into the column on the far right. I hope that made sense. And that is already it for my July setup. Here's a final close-up, and the final flip through will follow in a second. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed this video, that it was of use to you, as I already said. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them down in the comments, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye!